Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here, and I wanted to do a video because I was traveling through my YouTubes and I came across a video which I will definitely link at the bottom, and I think a lot of people should watch it. This was back in March, and I'm watching this individual a little bit more because he gives certain reviews about one of the TV shows I'm not watching. I'm not watching Batwoman. He does it, and he does a really phenomenal job. He's trying to get through it, and I have a feeling that if I was watching it, I wouldn't know what the heck I would be doing too. So I will link him down below. His name is Heels versus Babyface, and I'm giving him a little bit of a plug. He sounds like he's a English chap because of his slang. So I'm thinking he's from England, and he seems like a really nice fellow. And he made a video that, like I said, I'll be linking down below, and it's called. Let me look it up here real quick. He says, "Arrow's canceled. The CW has failed DC Comics." He made some really good points, and one of the things that I was very, he said he did not like the smaller version of Green Arrow. I personally liked it because that's the Green Arrow that I wanted. That's the Green Arrow that is. He's the slapstick, jovial individual that we all know and love. Now, with Arrow, and I think I made a video, one of my first sets of videos when I started talking about Arrow. It was about it was that they could have kept season 1, 2, and 3, kept it a little bit darker, but I felt that they should have lightened him up more and more and more. Now, when he was talking, he talked about longbow hunters, and he was talking about Mark Wade's time on the I think it was Mark Wade that he was talking about. Mark Wade's writing for Green Arrow, and it was dark, it was gritty, and he felt like a broken individual. Now, I agree with him. I totally agree with him. I want a dark, grittier, broken hero that's trying to work his way back up to being a hero again. But the one thing about Oliver Queen's character is that he was already a flamboyant playboy. He he pretty much was waifling through life, living off his parents' money, and I felt that by season 1, by the destruction of the Glades with the Dark Archer's weapon, that and the death of Tommy, that he made the vow to never kill because he didn't want to tarnish Tommy's name, that he was killing individuals, and every time he killed somebody he was looking at Tommy's disapproval every single time. He even stated that in the show, that he was, every time he killed someone, it was like he was killing Tommy, and that made him feel like he killed Tommy, and he doesn't want to feel that way again. So he was going to do something different. He was not going to kill, and he started hitting more vital, non-vital points of the body to incapacitate somebody, which is within his skill set. It's not like he can't do it. He can do it. I mean, he learned that from Kimono, and he learned that from Lin Fei, who became Kimono, and he learned that also from Shadow. So yes, he knows how to basically kill without. He knows how to kill. He knows how to take somebody out without killing them. Now, I realized by what he was talking about, I understand what he was wanting, and I could see where they could have did a very happy medium by one of the things that a lot of fans were talking about is they made Oliver Queen too much like Bruce Wayne, and that's not Bruce Wayne. I mean, that's not Oliver Queen. Bruce Wayne went around the world to train his mind, his body, and his spirit to literally become a force of nature against criminality. He wanted to find a way to 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 um to be strong enough to fight these criminals that is plaguing his city. And when he came back, he realized that he needed to embody the fear that he fears in himself, and that's become Batman. And that's how he struck fear into the hearts of criminals. That's been the story ever since 1930 since 1939. So I personally feel that that's been Batman. That's been Bruce Wayne. He's always been the one that has the most leagues of training. He walked all over the planet to learn from the greatest martial artists, the greatest mercenaries, the greatest of their craft, so he could become better than anything they've ever seen before. That's why he's such a fearsome foe. he's dangerous. He's the most dangerous person on the planet, one of the most dangerous people on the planet. Now, Oliver Queen has a great skill set in his own right. He's one of the greatest art. He is hands down the greatest archer in all of DC. I don't care who it is. They try to slack him down a couple of times with other people. His son Connor is nowhere near him in archery, but his son Connor can beat him hand to hand combat. Oliver Queen is the greatest archer. Now, one of the best things about Oliver Queen is the fact that his character was on an isolated island that whole time. And they could have introduced that he had all these people that are trying to help him get him through that island, but at the end of the whole situation, they either died or they died horribly, or he was forced to kill him. And those are the things that they should have did. Like, it was very dark on that island for Oliver, and he subjugated himself by going further and further and further over the line, that he was moving the goalpost. If you want a good clear representation, he was moving the goalpost. He's like, okay, I got this line, I won't cross it. He had to cross that line. Okay, I got another line, I will not cross. No, he crosses that line. And every time he kept moving the goalpost, it just made him darker and darker and darker. So when he becomes the Hood, and he just goes out, and there's no rules with him. He doesn't care because he's not moving any more goalposts. He's just like, okay, they got to go. And that's what I felt they should have did, and that's what they did in season one, and I was very happy with it. Now, Hawk hated it. He felt that was not the right way to do the character. Me personally, I think it was the right way to do the character, and then slowly over the course of each season, he has his friends. He has the girl that loves him. He has all these people that are around him that are trying to help him, and it slowly makes him realize that he can come back from the line and become the Oliver Queen that before he left that island, and he can become that charismatic person that we all know. The problem with what they did with Arrow is they kept him always on that line of Batman. And that's not Oliver Queen. Yes, he could be dark. Yes, Oliver could do dark things, but he's not charismatic. Oliver is not charismatic. He's very broody, and he's very moody. And that's something that as a hero that we all want to be able to get behind. Now, him being a badass, we can all get behind. Duh. But there's always a charismatic feature with him, and that's the one thing that we all can see in Barry Allen. He's very charismatic. He has a very boyish charm, and that's what we all like about Barry Allen. But the thing about that even Barry sees in Oliver is that Oliver is very charismatic. He could get people to want to listen to him because he speaks from the heart. He doesn't care what anybody thinks, and he's always willing to be a team player because he knows at the end of the day they're heroes and they got to be able to save lives. And that's what Oliver's big thing was, even in the comics, in Rebirth, even in his more traditional ways. Oliver worked with other people. He did work with other people, but the problem that he did with the show Arrow is they built too much ensembles, and he hit the nail. He hit it right on the nail. They made everybody all the same. They made them all equal in certain ways, and there was no person that was better than anybody else. Now they didn't have to make Diggle this badass martial arts fighter and all this and that. Yeah, he's ex-Marine. He's also did some secret operations. He's a highly trained tactical specialist. So why is he getting any type of training from Oliver? What he knows is more than enough. Why they have to have him sitting there, doing the sword routine with Oliver? That makes no sense. In all honesty, Diggle should look at him and go, I don't need to be doing all that. I'm good. He should be in the corner shooting up a dummy. With some rubber rounds or real live rounds. It doesn't matter. He should be pulling out high artillery weaponry and beating people down with it, with something with a stick, and it'd be perfectly fine with a nightstick or an eskrima stick or something, doing stuff like that. But he shouldn't, in my personal opinion, he shouldn't be training as a mercenary by Oliver Queen. He should be doing more military tactical trainings, and that should be more than enough for Diggle. and he should be okay, but he should not be able to clear a room like it's nobody's business. No, 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 no. That's not Diggle. Diggle is everybody's behind him. He plays point, and he goes in, and you do almost like a Call of Duty. He and Wild Dog, which oh god, Renee should be able to be easy like this. Dude, they're both military. They're both military. No matter if Wild Dog was drummed out or not, they're military, and that was one of the big things I liked about what they were doing with Diggle. He was trying to get through to Renee to get him to join up. Say, hey man, dude, it doesn't matter. You're a brother. You're a brother, just like me. We both served our country. Yeah, you got drummed out because of stupidity. Yes, but that doesn't mean that you didn't want to serve your country. And that should be something that he should be firmly proud of. That he tried to serve his country, but his country screwed him over, and that's okay. That was the storyline that they built for Renee. Um, Now they screwed over. They also now you got to go back to the first season. They showed that Oliver had a pretty makeshift ability to be able to hack securities. Now that was one of the things that even Diggle said, "Hey, wait a minute, how did you learn how to hack on an island?" And he says, "I'll tell you later." Those are things that we were like, "Whoa, how the heck did he learn that?" He was on that island for 5 years, or was he on that island for the full 5 years? And you could have said for the last year, he was in Russia learning a whole bunch of crap, learning with the Bratva. And I'll be like, okay, that's perfectly fine. That's the last year he was on the island. He already got the island a whole year beforehand. He just lied that he was on the island for 5 years. They could say he was on the island for 5 years, but then he was gone for another year and a half, and that was him in the Bratva. You could have easily done all that, but they didn't want to. They wanted to try to make this action packed and so much story, and they want to try to be clever, but they weren't being clever. They were just basically serving a weird narrative that made no sense for the character, and it made no sense for the overarching story, because a lot of us were wondering how the heck, okay, if he got off that island so many times, why the heck did he go back? He could have easily said, you know what, I'm done, I want to go home. But no, the whole thing in season three with Hong Kong made no sense. Then also on top of that, he went back to the island by the end of season three, and he had to deal with the whole situation with Damien Dark in season four, and that was the main reason why he was on the island in season four. And by the time he was off the island in season five, it's because he left the island and then came back to the island again, and that's how he went to the Bratva. And I'm like, oh my god, dude, you guys are ruining your flashbacks. This all should have took place on the island. It should have all took a place on this island. You could have said season one he was there on this island. This island is pretty freaking huge. You could have made it where it was death traps. He was dealing with China Wei. He was dealing with this. He was dealing with that. He was dealing with Baron Miser. That's fine. All these things that he was dealing with the island is perfectly fine. And people that were coming in to help him, either they died by the villain's hands or they died by his own hands because they were stupid and didn't listen to him. And he just kept getting angrier and angrier. And he realized that he can only do this stuff himself, and everyone's going to keep dying around him. But now you got the whole story of his whole when him having this team now, he literally can let go of that. Like, hey, this team is willing to sacrifice themselves for the greater good of Star City. It'd be perfectly fine. It would be perfectly fine. But they didn't do that. And it just, and to me, it really undercutted his character, because you have Felicity that's this supreme hacker and knows physics and quantum physics and all this and pulls anything up on her computer. It's like, wait a minute, the moment she got on the board with the FBI, it doesn't matter. She should have been thrown in jail, and so should have Oliver, because everything that Felicity's been doing is under, especially her hacking into certain forms of government just for her to get this information. Like, how did she get all this level of information? I mean, even then they had, oh yeah, well, Lila would never allow her to in Argus' stuff. She got angry the moment that Felicity got anywhere near Argus firewalls. She said, dude, what are you doing? You know that you're gonna keep knocking on these guys' door, and now I'm gonna have to take you out. And she's like, oh well, you're not gonna do that. She goes, try me. And she would, because she has to. She cannot show a bias against the Green Arrow and his team. She cannot. She is the leader of Argus. And it's just it's like they were really trying to push buttons, thinking like, oh, they're not gonna do anything. Are you kidding me? There's a lot of things that could have been done on this show that could have easily got rid of Felicity, and it kept pushing that envelope, and it made no sense. Now people can try to defend that all they want, but for me is there needs to be consequences, and the consequences isn't the fact that the villain needs to do something, or you got this annoying FBI agent who keeps knocking on their door and they're bothering them, saying, oh, she's hella annoying. No, she's doing her job. She's doing her job. Her job is, you guys are breaking into highly sensitive equipments and highly sensitive areas of United States government, and you think that basically we could just sit back and allow that to happen just because you're a hero trying to save the city? No, that's not how it works. And if you can't if you feel that's a little too much, then this is not the show for you. This is the what they wrote in those seasons. That's the show for you. You want everybody just to get out of their way and let these heroes be heroes, and just what consequences? The only consequence they should serve is the fact that it serves to the villain who they have to deal with. That the villain has to be the one that serves the consequence. No, there's a lot of there's a lot of circumstantial consequences outside of the actions of the story itself, and that's what builds a much more consequential universe. And everyone's got to remember something. What was the main reason why a lot of people love The Dark Knight? They love The Dark Knight because Bruce Wayne was flawed. He was massively flawed. He did a lot of problems. He angered Lucius Fox. He never truly served his greater purpose as Bruce Wayne. He kept devoiding himself away from Bruce Wayne and becoming the Batman, which upset Alfred because Alfred felt that the more Bruce kept being Batman, the less he's going to become Bruce Wayne, and that's the death of the full Wayne family. That's what was the whole purpose of Dark Knight Rises. He kept telling him that if you keep doing this, he wished that basically Bruce would die, and he would just know that at least his parents would not, and he wouldn't have to suffer anymore. And that the Waynes have finally did what they needed to do for the city, which actually pissed off Bruce because it made Bruce go, so you never were behind me this whole time. Alfred's like, I'm always behind you, but not for this insanity. He's not behind him 100% for this insanity. You are not young, and you're not that young man anymore. 8 years ago, you would have probably took on Bane. Bane would have been easy for him to do. But your 8 years, your wounds have completely scarred up. You have stopped your training. You have stopped keeping yourself in shape. You allowed your body to go get flubbered, and now you're gonna try to get yourself back into shape, and then try to take on this guy that can punch through walls with little to no effort. No, this he's a rock. You're a wet piece of paper. And that's what was the whole story of The Dark Knight Rises. Bruce was a flawed man who didn't realize that his time as Batman was over the moment he gave up the cowl. The moment he gave up being Batman, that was the end of his Batman. I'm sorry, that's what I got from it. Bruce Wayne would never give up on his city. He wouldn't. He believes in redemption. He believes in what his family, what his dad and his mom instilled into him. That there is no way that the city can ever fall to the likes of evil. This city is the shining jewel of the United States. It's the shining jewel of our country, and they will die before they allow that to happen. And then Bruce is doing it through being Batman. He's giving the people hope. But the Joker in Dark Knight, the Joker destroyed it. He destroyed it. He destroyed the credibility of the Batman and destroyed the credibility of Harvey Dent, and they had to cover it up. Now, I don't want to get into that because that's a huge little thing about the Dark Knight, but that's what they were trying to do with Oliver Queen, but that's not Oliver Queen. Oliver Queen was given a list of these bad people that were trying to destroy his city, and he knocked them all off, person after person after person. That was season 1. Why in the heck didn't season 2? Now in season 2 they introduced Slade as the person that was taking care of his city, that took his company, did all this stuff, created a brand new Mirakuru serum, gave it to the most hardcore criminals from Blackgate, and literally created an army of Deathstrokes basically, and tried to take over the city. Oliver got together. He got whatever defense he could and took down Deathstroke in one of his most dangerous adversaries he's ever fought. And that was awesome. It was awesome. And I personally felt that they should have slowly started to make him more lighthearted. The moment they introduced Ra's al Ghul, and yes, his name is Ra's al Ghul. It's not Raz. I'm sorry, it's not Raz. It's Ra's. It's Arabic, and there is no. I'm sorry, it's Ra's al Ghul. So, but that's fine. However you want to pronounce it is fine. I pronounce it Ra's al Ghul. Try to roll that R a little bit. Now, the problem that season 3 proposed was they introduced the Demon's Head, and I was like, oh no, this guy is way beyond Oliver's means. He even stated in season 2, he literally stated, if half of the things he heard about Ra's al Ghul is true, he got scared. He was beyond the word scared. And you're gonna introduce this guy in season 3? That's the worst villain you should have introduced. He should have been nowhere near Oliver Queen. He should have been nowhere near Oliver Queen. He should have did that. Should never introduced him. Never introduced him. Introduce a Nissa Al Ghul or even Talia. That's the most you're ever going to get from the Demon's Head. But you should have never introduced the Demon's Head. That was the worst, one of the worst ideas they've ever did. Worst. And then the season 4 was hands down the worst season out of the whole series. And they know they screwed up. And they killed the Black Canary. They killed Dinah Laurel Lance. And that was the hands down dumbest thing they ever did. They finally gave this woman personality. They finally gave her a great storyline, and then they kill her. And everybody was already saying like, "Oh no, she's gonna die." And we're like, "No way, they're not gonna kill the Black Canary on the Green." 11:59. Everyone was done. Everybody was done with this series. They were done. Their ratings plummeted. They were literally on a respirator because of what they did. And Stephen Amell was very shocked and very upset too. He was very upset that people were reaming him. They were telling him that he's an a-hole, this, and this. And also, you had the Olicity tards out there that were trying to defend the Olicity, making his life miserable, making his wife's life miserable, making his daughter's life miserable. It's like, what are you doing, man? I mean, you could be you can have your little fanaticism, but why are you taking it out on the actor? The actor is happily married. Just because these two have a chemistry doesn't mean that he's gonna leave his wife, who just had his daughter, for somebody that he just has this. He has a semi chemistry with. To me, it's stupid. To me, it was stupid. It was stupid. And you wasted Katie Cassidy's time. You wasted the audience's time. You should have never introduced Dinah Laurel Lance. You should have never introduced the Lances. You could introduce Quentin. Quentin Lance was perfectly fine. And it's like, is that Dinah's dad? And no. He's just a guy. You could have still had the whole aspect that he has a daughter. His daughter did die, Sarah Lance. You could have kept that whole thing, and the daughter disappears. He blames Oliver. That whole situation is perfectly fine. But there's no Dinah Laurel Lance in his whole series. You could have kept it away from this, and I think a lot of people would have been very okay with that. They'd have been perfectly fine with it. You could have had Alyssa in there and all that other stuff and said, no, we're just not touching the Black Canary. We're not touching it. We are not going to tarnish the Black Canary when we're doing the Green Arrow story, and we're doing it early in his career. It'd be perfectly fine. I'd have been okay. Like, okay, if you're not doing the Black Canary, I will not hold nothing against this show. That means they're going their own direction. But by having her on there, wasting Katie Cassidy's time by getting herself into shape, she did Instagram videos of her exercising. She was doing fight choreography. She was doing all this stuff to say, "Hey, I'm gonna play the Black Canary. Oh man, this is gonna be fun." We're all like, "Okay, let's see what she can do with this character." And you basically killed her off. You made her look like you truly made her look like she was an actress trying to do martial a kung fu movie. You made her look like she was useless, and even the fight choreography for her was garbage, and that tells volumes of how much they have little respect for Black Canary, who go in history. She is the second DC hero, female hero created. The first one is Wonder Woman. Then the second one, the Black Canary, and it was Dinah Drake. Yes, you crapped all over that character, crapped all over the legacy of the Black Canary. That's what a lot of us were talking about. It has nothing to do with Dinah Laura Lance. She's part of the legacy itself because Dinah Laura Lance is Dinah Drake's daughter from a different universe, of course. But that's always been convoluted and muddled. But in the original aspect, Dinah Laura Lance is Dinah Drake's daughter by not Quentin Lance, Larry Lance, by Larry Lance. And then when Larry died, no, when before she even met Larry Lance, she was having an affair with Green Arrow. She was having an affair with Green Arrow. She was having this gigantic love affair with the Green Arrow. And then when the Crisis of Infinite Earths happened, and when the universes were being all like that, Green Arrow got redone, and then you got the new Black Canary, which is Donna Laura Lance, and guess what? They got together after Crisis on Infinite Earths. After they just revealed that Dinah Laura Lance is the daughter to Dinah Drake. And Oliver Queen was like, okay. But that they've been together ever since, on and off, but ever since then. Back in 84, I think. Because she was around since 80, it's 80 or 79 or 80. So for 4 years, she was not with Oliver Queen, and then she finally gets with Oliver Queen, and they've been together ever since. They were the 1-2 superhero combo. And you're telling me the producers and the showrunners had no more stories to tell? Are you joking with me? And then two, you brought this character to life, and Laurel Laurel, who's supposed to be the Black Canary, and then you introduced Sarah Lance, her fake sister, I'm sorry, not fake sister, but her sister in the show, but Laurel never had a sister, but that's okay, that's fine. And she becomes the quote unquote canary, and she looks more like the Black Canary than anything else, which confused the fans because they were like, "Oh, fine, okay, we're getting the Black Canary then. She's the Black." Nope, she's not the Black Canary. She's called herself the Canary. And then she had the same type of storyline as Oliver. She's teetering with darkness, and she doesn't know if she can love people, and blah 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 blah. But the moment that her and Oliver see each other, they're banging boots. Bruh, bruh. That's what I'm saying. It's bruh. So, the CW itself has really screwed over Oliver Queen and the whole legacy of the Green Arrow, and it's a travesty. This show should last 10 years, easy. There's a lot of stories they could tell, but they screwed this show up so much, and then they Mark Guggenheim with his goofy self, he hands it off to this new showrunner, and then instead of basically trying to give us a really great new core story, she basically introduces Arrow Beyond, the new Arrow Beyond, and tried to get a spin-off show to this, which is, from what people are saying, it's gonna happen. It's gonna tank. No one's gonna watch it. You got the core audience. You got a small. Okay, look back at season 7. The ratings they had. Now, take out I would say 20% of their ratings because of the Elseworlds crossover. But look at the last half of that season. Excuse me. Look at the last half of that season, And that's your core audience for that Arrow Beyond. That's what it is. That's the core audience. And if that show is so terrible, it's gonna go down and down and down and down, and they're gonna have to cancel it. They're gonna have to cancel it after 3 seasons. They're gonna try to make the first season work. And they're gonna say, okay, let's do the second season. Let's try something different. And then if those ratings do not go up, and the demo just goes, you know what, we're done. We're done. We're not watching this because this is garbage. And then guess what? They're gonna fight back and try to say, "Oh, toxic males do not want to watch a female archer." Nope, that's not what it is. And nobody's gonna say nothing about it except like some YouTubers out there who want to try to defend the show, and they don't understand what piss poor writing is because they don't care. They just want to see superheroes out there, and it's like, no, I want to see superheroes out there, but I want to see them well written. We're not saying do it book, layer by layer exactly from the comic books. And on top of that, there is no Mia Smoke or no Mia Queen. There is no such thing as a Mia Queen. All right? No. He never had a daughter. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. No. He does have a half daughter. And that's with Shadow. And that's Emiko. That's supposed to be Emiko in the comics. Then they rebooted that and said, nope, that's his sister. He did have a daughter, like he had a son. He had a son that he had with a woman a long time ago. Shadow revealed that, nope, that's your daughter, because that was the time he was on the island, and she's an older woman now. Like the same thing with Connor. He had Connor out of wedlock. And this was before he even met Black Canary. That's why she was okay with it. And when Oliver died and Connor became the Green Arrow, guess what? Black Canary was next to him because she knew that the world needs to see the Green Arrow with the Black Canary. And Connor did a phenomenal job. He was just ruthless. He was ruthless. And that's what they're doing with Mia. They're making Mia their new Connor Hawk. And it's sad. It's very sad. It's too inclusive. It's like, wait a minute. Why? What's the problem with Oliver, I don't know, having a son? And also, what is the problem with having certain characters better than your heroes? That doesn't demean the hero. It just means that that hero's skill set is only at this much. This person had better training, so it should be higher than this. But why you want to write it where heroes like here and they're like right here, and the hero can always beat that person? That makes no sense. And then if you look at Arrow the way it's written now, Oliver's having a hard time against League of Assassin members. Why? He's Ra's al Ghul. He beat Ra's al Ghul. He beat Ra's al Ghul. He beat Damien Dark. He beat Prometheus. He beat Slade Wilson. He beat he beat Ricardo Diaz, the Dragon. He beat a lot of people that were some of the best hand-to-hand fighters in all of the world, and he has a hard time with thugs. He has a hard time with League of Assassin members. Okay, here's the thing here's an X about Batman. One, Batman has never been able to beat Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul has always been able to pin Bruce down. Bruce only defeated him one time. One time. And that means he had to be always on his guard because Ra's has so much years of experience than Bruce, and it's ridiculous. But if Ra's is sickly, Bruce can beat him. But if Ra's is at tip top of his form, Bruce can have a hard time with him. Flat. But if he goes against the League of Assassins themselves, those ninjas are toast. Because they know they're fighting against the guy that actually can match their master. The master of the league. It's not going to be an easy battle. That's why they all attack him. And he takes them all out. It's not like he walks away and he just one-shots them. No, it takes a battle out of him. But he walks out of that place. It's like, nope. But there's a lot of times he even says, "Nope, I'm not going in there because he'll die. He will die. That place is like a honeycomb full of ninjas. There's no way." Nanda Parabot is not. I'm sorry, not Nanda Parabot. The League of Assassins Stronghold is no joke, and that's why this all ties back to how the heck is Oliver Queen having a hard time against a one League of Assassin member? He should not. He should be able to easily knock this person flat and knock him through a wall. His skill should be enough, more than enough. If he's having a hard time against freaking a regular League of Assassin member, then by God, how the hell did Malcolm lose? And Malcolm is supposed to be considered beyond those League of Assassin members. He's considered a part of the Four Horsemen, who are supposed to be the four personal guards to Ra's al Ghul himself. So they're the most elite trained. And Oliver one-shotted him. He won. He just basically backhanded him. Man looks stupid. But he has a hard time against a League of Assassin member. So those are the problems I see. They don't know what to write. They don't know how to sit these characters down. They don't know where the difference in their power scaling. If you had him defeat this one person, whoever he fights now should have little to no problem. Little to no. I see Black Lightning on his show have easier time against thugs than Oliver does. Because he's beating the crap out of them every single time. And he does it without his powers. Now, anybody can try to defend and say, well, they're just thugs. So is a League of Assassin member. The last episode, we caught up to Thea Dearden. She's supposed to be the new Ra's al Ghul. Whatever. It's all right. But she's fighting against these other League of Assassin members, and they're able to, and Oliver's having a hard time fighting one of them. They're having a hard time fighting them. I'm like, why? Why shouldn't they be able to wipe the floor with these guys? These guys should be toast. Toast. Like, this should be no joke to them. These should be thugs. Regular, good old thugs. And again, you see Oliver fighting in a room full of thugs. He has a little bit of a hard time fighting them. And I'm like, what? He should be able to punch one of their teeth in one hit. That's how powerful Oliver's fist should be. This man hits an arrow and he shoots it faster than a ball. He goes bonk and he goes ching 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 and he's shooting the arrow and he's shooting it pinpoint. That's a lot of arm strength. And he's punching these dudes. He should literally be able to punch their teeth in and just drop them. Just drop them in one hit. One hit. And he's hitting them sometimes with his bow. That bow is strong as hell. It's made out of Japanese wood. That's some of the strongest woods in the known world. He hits them with one of them, dude. They're going night night. That's my personal opinion. You can't stupefy the writing and people go, no, that's suspense your disbelief. What? That would, if he hits a guy's top of his head, either the man's head's gonna crack open like a walnut, or the bow's gonna snap. Why the heck would he hit somebody with a bow if he knows the bow is gonna snap? That means he lost his main weapon. That's stupid. So if he hits them, he knows that their head's gonna go clock. Their head's gonna open up like a grapefruit. So why the heck is he having a hard time against these thugs? And then on top of that, they do all these weird gymnastic takedowns. And I'm like, why? That's useless. Just beat them down and move on. Make it simple. And this is one of the main reasons why I flat out love Zack Snyder's interpretation for Batman. You saw him take out a room full of armed thugs with 3 gadgets, and he got out with just a knife in the shoulder. That's it. Because he overpowered them. He overpowered them, went through them like a steamroller, and he just completely destroyed them. But he was prepared for it. Oliver had time to prepare. He's like, okay, I'm going to go here. All right, I know what I need to do. All right. So why is he having a hard time against these thugs? To me, there's a lot of times where there's some that I go, okay, cool. He's shooting him in the leg, dropping him on the ground, hits him aside the head with his bow. I'm good with that. that's clean and cut and get this guy out of my way and keep moving. But he's sitting there hitting one guy, backhands one other guy, does this weird judo takedown maneuver and punches him across. I'm like, what? Why? Just kick the guy off of you, shoot him in the freaking shoot him in the pancreas, and hit him in the freaking in the side of the head with your bow. Walk away. The guy bleeds out. Hey, that's just them apples. Shoot one guy in the shoulder and pin him against the wall, and then backhand him and then backhand him. Make it look simple. Like, dude, Oliver knows what he's doing. He's taking these guys out. He's not wasting his time, because the more time he keeps wrapping them up doing these judo moves, he's expending energy. He should be panting. He should be tired. But he's taking out a room full of 10 men and he's not going. I'm like, no, that's not real. That makes no sense. It makes no sense. You try to do that. Even a fit person, if they do that, they're going to be tired. Case in point, Batman. In Batman versus Superman. He took out a room full of a dozen men, high weapons, and he was panting. And Oliver doesn't. And he's taking a room full of the same amount of men, and he's in an enclosed area. That's way more, dude, that's going to take up way more energy. Especially if a guy grabs him from behind and starts doing this to him, wriggling him around. He's got to spend energy just to break the hold and beat the crap out of the guy. It's make it simple. That's all I'm asking. Make the fights and choreography simple, and we can accept a lot of it. But if you have them wrapping people up, I'm going to go, okay, that's cool, but that makes no sense. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time. And it's not me being hypersensitive to anything. It's more in the fact of, to me, it makes no sense. And I'm not going to suspend my disbelief over that. I'm not. If the fight, that's why I like the way Black Lightning does it. He hits him, he uppercuts him, or he throws him and he lightnings him away. He tries his best not to waste energy. And I don't mean lightning energy, I mean stamina. Why the heck would he want to go through a elongated fight? No, get rid of this guy. It's a thug. Make him go away. Make him go away. He's an ant. Make him go away. Your objective is over here. Why are you wasting time with all these little guys? They're runts. Get them out of the way. And that's why I liked the song choreography for Black Lightning. It makes more sense. When he fights against someone that's super powered, yes, that's going to take a little bit of more of a fight. It makes sense. And he's going to spend more energy. He's going to spend more stamina trying to fight this person. So, but this is going on a little long. But I'm gonna link this down below. I'm gonna link his video down below in the description, and I think you all should watch it. He makes really good, valid points. I do agree with him. I agree maybe 80% of what he's saying. The other 20%, I kind of think they can. Sorry about that. I think they can actually flex it a little bit, make it. You could flex it a little bit, but his heart's in the right place, and I do agree with him with the fact that they piss poor the writing, and they don't care. You got 20 somethings trying to write it for a comic book, and they don't read the comic book. They know nothing of the comic book. They know nothing of it. Now Tom Helbig, he's been writing. He's been with Andrew Kreisberg, so he has a good understanding of what Andrew Kreisberg's trying to do with these characters. So it's fine. I can understand where his mindset is at. But he hasn't written a comic book before. Excuse me. Andrew Kreisberg did. He wrote for The Flash before. So did Mark Guggenheim, and he wrote for Green Arrow, which is kind of mind-boggling, because it's like, wait a minute, if you've written for these guys, if you've written these comics before, how in the hell could you write this trash? How could you write this trash? How could Mark Guggenheim write this trash? Because he wants to serve a narrative, and he wants to try to be this big wig that says, hey, I brought this character to life, so I know the heck I'm doing with this character. No, you don't. You never did. If you did, you never would have introduced Black Canary. If you did, you would have actually took your time and built a strong, solid foundation of the character and kept it pinned on the character. Not every problem happened because of Oliver Queen. You could have did it outside of that problem, and it just has a reference to the main problem. And that's what my problem is. So I'm sorry, I'm getting a little tired. So I'm gonna leave it here. Like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Hit that bell, please. I will have some more videos out. Man, this weekend is Fallen Order. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be completely busy. I'm not gonna have any videos out. I'm just gonna be playing Fallen Order all weekend. I'm gonna be all over that game like white on rice, and I'm gonna do a lot of stuff. So um, I'll try to have a video out maybe on Sunday night. I'll probably have a quick one out on Monday just to give you guys a heads up about what I think is going to be happening for the Snyder Cut. And I will do one more video before I sign off tonight. I will do a quick video about Snyder Cut and what I think the prospects of us getting that cut is. All right, you guys have a great one. Okay, bye.